Hey YouTube friends, welcome to a super easy, super chilled weekly plant check-in video. This video will be a little bit different to some of my other videos. I'm trying to keep it really casual, not very much editing. I've got a lot of plants, as you all know, so there's always something going on that we can chat about. I've got some wishlist plant updates, which is always super exciting. I've got some new grow lights to unbox with you. I've made a pretty hard decision with regards to my current self-watering setup, which I was hoping to share with you. Also, I've just got a few plants that I didn't cover in last week's planty winter update. So even though this is going to be a pretty easy video, there are still lots and lots for us to talk about. And if we haven't met before, hey, I'm Mel. I'm that crazy plant lady that just loves talking about plants, but I'm absolutely no expert. A few years ago, my compost bin was just overflowing with my mistakes. And this channel is all about bringing you along on the planty journey, failures and all. I like to think that my videos are packed full of little tips and tricks to help you build your own planty collection. Plants have truly just brought me so much joy over the past few years. Oh my goodness, you guys, I have made myself the best chai this morning. I absolutely love chai, and once a month I spoil myself with a delivery of, it's not just chai, it's actually got cacao, raw cacao in it, and it's not cheap, so I don't allow myself to have it all the time, but the delivery came yesterday, so I'm spoiling myself with a cacao chai while I'm recording this video. It feels like such a treat to get to drink it. But enough about what I'm drinking. I thought we might start by opening our plant accessory mail from We the Wild. Let me just grab the box. In getting ready for my grow light video, I did need some additional grow lights, and the grow lights that I've got in here, so you can't see, so can you see above my head? I'm having trouble. So above my head there is, I've got two grow lights in this room, and they're just they're grow lights that fit into the normal E27 bulb, so you just screw them in, and they're from a company, an Australian company called Gatherer. I found them absolutely brilliant. I think they were like $30 or $40, so reasonable. However, you notice that they're a white light, which works really well in this room because I predominantly use it during the day, a great light for recording. But I was actually looking for a warm white light as well for different areas of my house. And when I was looking a few years ago, here in Australia, there wasn't as much choice as there is now. And I was delighted to see that one of my favorite companies, We the Wild, can you guys see that? We the Wild, who I've been a long-term fan of their pest control and some of their fertilizers, have actually brought out grow lights, which is super, super exciting. So I've ordered myself two to try, and I thought I'd open them with you guys. This is a little brochure, how to keep houseplants healthy throughout winter. Oh, that's a nice tip. Being in Southeast Queensland, it is still winter here. Mind you, it doesn't feel like it's warming up really nicely. Cut down on watering, move plants away from drafts and heaters. That's some of the We the Wild. This is absolutely not sponsored, by the way. My channel is way too small, but that's some of the products, the We the Wild products that I've tried in the past, and I continue to use their Protect spray, their neem oil Protect spray. Let's have a look. I'm on an awkward angle here, so I've ordered two. So what I'm going to do, out in our lounge room where I've got the antique ladder, it's a south-facing window. So being in the southern hemisphere, it's opposite to you guys in the northern hemisphere. In that in summer, when the sun is a bit, lower in the sky, in winter, higher in the sky in summer. In winter, we get some beautiful light through the window, not direct, but really nice filtered light. In summer, the sun will be higher in the sky and we don't get quite as much light through that window. And there's fortunately a light bulb right above that ladder. So I was wanting to replace the standard light bulb with a grow light. These are about $40. I'll put something up on the screen so you can see. Let me get into them. So these are a full spectrum light. I won't go too much into them because I'm going to do a whole video. I think grow lights are a whole thing, but I just wanted to show you guys because I'm super, super excited. Oh, they're nice and light. So that will just screw into a standard E27 fitting, and I've learned that, I know for our house, E27, most of my lights, this fits most light bulbs, and it also fits a lot of lamps as well. So if you're wanting something that's mobile, it's about the same weight as the Gatherer light. I looked back through my emails out of interest, and I was doing grow light research for these guys in January 24 when I first started realizing that as my plant collection got bigger, I should probably look at grow lights. And at the time, Soltech, lots of people were using them. There was a lot of information I could find about them, and these just weren't available in Australia. So I got myself, I've got 3 Soltech lights, and they have been amazing. In Australian dollars, I think I got them for $140 each on special. So that hurt a little bit. and they have definitely been great. My plants have been thriving. I've just taken this out of the fitting in the bathroom, and it is hot to touch. The We the Wild ones are saying that they're made from recycled plastic, and I don't know if you can tell, this is more plasticky, and apparently they don't get as hot, so that's a positive. But also look at the size difference. So this is much lighter than this one and much smaller, much more compact. So I'm really looking forward at trying the two. I love that these are made from recycled materials, especially with regards to the tariffs and things that are going on with the postal service at the moment. Really grateful to find a local supplier, and for $40, and the warm white as well. I'm going to give it a go for a few weeks before I do that grow light video. But for anyone that's using soil sticks, I've found these amazing. My plants just absolutely thrive over them. It's just more the price point for me. If this can do the same, it's a local supplier. This is really great, and particularly for people that are just getting into plants, $140 on special. So I think they're normally $149, $150 here in Australia, and then the shipping on top of that, $40. And I think I got the two for $10 shipping. We the Wild often have sales as well, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes. Okay, let me put these back before I drop any of them. The first plant that I wanted to talk about in this video is my monkey tail cactus. I've probably had these guys for 6 weeks or so, maybe 8 weeks. I've had them for a little while. I repotted them straight away actually, because they were just in really little pots. And when I was repotting them, I'm having trouble juggling them. When I was repotting them, I knocked the end off this little guy, but see, it's already shooting a new little baby, which is super, super exciting. I was really worried when I bumped the end off it, because these are my first monkey tails that I've had, so I'm not really familiar. And then the second one, this is the bit that I knocked off. It's already shooting a bit on top. And then this one, this is the piece that I didn't knock. It's already starting to curl. I'm so excited. So this has grown probably from here, this whole piece, since I've had it. Most of the plants that I'm showing you today are sitting up on that entry wall that I've showed you before that have a lot of my jungle cactus. There's a skylight, and then I've got 2 supplementary Gathera grow lights, the 3 head style grow lights. So these guys aren't really getting any light from the skylight, but I've put them right near one of the grow lights, and so I'm taking that as a really good sign that they're loving the amount of light and water. So I'm watering them about once a week at the moment, and I guess I'm just watching them. So I'm making sure that, being a jungle cactus, I'm not letting the soil get as dry as what I would for a cactus or a succulent. This is probably a good segue into the decision that I've made with my self-watering setup. As you guys know, I've been experimenting for the last few months, since about December, with a semi-hydro setup. So pond is not easy to get here in Australia necessarily. So Mabgrow is a similar sort of mineral mix. So first of all, I tried the fine Mabgrow. Can you guys see that? It's predominantly just fine Mabgrow and perlite. And I just found that it would get quite compact, quite dense, and it was leading to some root rot issues. Not for all of my plants, but for enough of them that I was like, this isn't really working for us. This is actually one of my last plants that's in this fine Mabgrow. So then I tried a mix that you can see in here. So that is the Mabgrow, the chunkier Mabgrow, or the regular Mabgrow mixed through my chunky mix. I'll show you here. I'm just saying, for my style of growing, I've found that it's a lot heavier. So I used to call my chunky mix, I guess, my bulletproof chunky mix. I could pretty much bring most plants back, unless they were too gone, but I could bring most plants back. I could propagate plants. And I've just found by adding that Mabgrow into here. So with my self-watering setups, I was doing, so 1/3 down the bottom straight Mabgrow, and then 2/3 the chunky mix with a little bit of that Mabgrow mixed through as well. Or root rot's not really something I've had a problem with. As soon as I realized a few years ago now, thank goodness, when my compost bin was overflowing with plants that I was loving so much, by watering them 2 or 3 times a week, because obviously all plants, particularly succulents, need to be watered a few times a week, because the sicker they look, the more water you give them, the more you love them, which is not the case at all, and I know that now. And so when I was just using my chunky mix, I wasn't having root rot problems. I really want to keep doing the self-watering, because it just saves me so much time and so much energy, but this is not working for me. So I'm going to go back to my good old school chunky mix, which is my my coconut core fiber, coconut core bark or orchid bark. It doesn't matter, as long as there's nice chunky bits of bark in there. Lots of perlite, love perlite, and then a bit of leca mixed through. I'll try a few of them with having the 1/3 leca down the bottom, or 1/3 perlite down the bottom. So Lots of experimenting that's going to be happening here, guys. So watch this space. I'll let you know how I go. I've got a big bag of Mabgo left. I've added it all through my chunky mix. I'll slowly add more perlite, more bark, just to try and make my mix lighter again. Even just holding this, it's dry, and normally my chunky mix is a lot lighter, and that's one of the ways that I can tell when plants need to be watered. I really rely on visual reminders, you know, ADHD brain. So another thing I found with this is when with my old school chunky mix, when the mineral substrate wasn't in here, you can tell when it's dry and wet. But even here, see, I've literally just watered this, but visually I'm having trouble telling. There's no sign there unless that was in a clear pot. And even in a clear pot, it's not as easy to tell visually if something needs a drink unless you've got that saucer sitting in the bottom and it's literally out of water. So I am absolutely not saying it's a bad product, but definitely does not work for my style of plant parenting. So I'll slowly over the next few months transition away from that, go back to my old school chunky mix, rely on the perlite and the leca down the bottom 1/3, and hopefully even find a mix that's chunky enough that I don't even need to do the 1/3, 2/3. I can just do the same mix all the way through. That would be amazing. Imagine just having one bucket of mixed up soil substrate. This one is my Philodendron Birkins, and I really don't think I show you guys this one enough because it really is a beautiful plant. I've had it out in my back area, and can you see when I've got it in the right light? Look at the color of those leaves. They are so pretty. And I have to keep reminding myself about how pretty this plant is. This plant has been on my purge list on and off ever since I've got it. Every time I Google mature plants, I'm like, what are you thinking, Melissa? These are just beautiful plants. But can you see, guys, if I show you sideways, this poor plant, I've had it out in my back area, which is normally such a good place to grow plants. But obviously where I've had it and it's been winter, it's not quite getting enough light. It must be getting a reasonable amount because it's got its irrigations here. So I was given this as a cutting from someone who didn't want it anymore. So you can see down the bottom, the leaves are quite green, the older leaves are quite green, so it wasn't getting as much light. The variegation really comes out when it has more light. So it seems to have been getting enough light, but it's having to reach. See, it's having to reach across this way. This is sort of how I had it sitting to get that light. So I'm thinking that wasn't in the perfect spot for it. I really want it to be more full. And look, I could just rotate it around on the ladder, but I don't want a plant to have to work that hard for the light. Definitely not on the purge list. I've reminded myself again what a beautiful plant this is, and definitely the new leaves that are coming in have that beautiful color that just made me fall in love with the plant. So this has now become an entry wall plant as well. It has pride of place next to my monkey tail, so there's a monkey tail either side. It is also getting beautiful bright light from those grow lights as well. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to even her up and she doesn't have to lean or work as hard for the light, and we keep getting more of those beautiful variegations. I can't wait to see how that goes. We'll take this as a snapshot for now of how much she's leaning and how dark the leaves down the bottom are, and see if we can turn this plant around a bit and let her show the colours that she's meant to show. So I'll keep you guys updated on this one. So the next thing I wanted to show you was not, I mean, it's a Ripsalis. It's beautiful. I love her. But what I wanted to show you actually is this plant stand. This also sits up on the entry wall, and it's one of the features on my entry wall. One of my long-term neighbours actually makes, what does he call it, steampunk? So if you've seen in some of my videos, in our dining room, we've got a beautiful recycled lamp that was made from some of the parts of my husband's motorbikes. And we've also got a really cool, it was meant to be an alcoholic drink dispenser, but I've used it as a plant stand. And then I said to my neighbour, because it's all out of recycled materials, I absolutely love it. Do you have something that you could make on the entry wall? I'll put a picture of the entry wall up for anyone who hasn't watched some of my previous videos. So in our entry wall, it's sort of two-tiered, and the bit at the front where I wanted this to sit is only 13 centimeters, and he made this out of recycled pipe. It's so cool. Recycled tap, of course, and I thought that was such a nice touch. So beautiful, and I've just got my Ripsalis growing in it, going down the wall, which looks just amazing. He actually had his very first art exhibit this month in a local gallery. My husband and I went along, of course, to support. There was a coffee table there that I would have absolutely loved. It had a recycled timber. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm going to say $130, but all recycled parts, and I actually thought for a gallery piece would have looked great for some of my plants, but unfortunately it had that red ticket on it. It was already sold. But long story short, it was such a nice needed break. I didn't realize it's on the main street where we live, but it's actually upstairs, so it's hidden. So I've been walking past this place for years. It's not only a gallery, but it's a coffee shop as well, and even better, it's a tea house, and they do chai. They do real chai in a teapot. So it was so lovely. It was on Monday after we'd spent the morning with multiple medical appointments, and I just was able to sit there, look at the water and drink real chai, surrounded by, the lady had just beautiful music playing, and there was a sea breeze coming through the door. It is a bit of a hidden gem that I hadn't even known about in our local area. So I think that's a definite self-care thing I will be doing more often. Just for sitting there with this stupid big smile on my face, because it is so rare to find somewhere that's quiet, that I don't feel overwhelmed and it's not too peoply and it's nice and calm. That was a pretty cool find this week, and I may need to ask my neighbour to make me one of those coffee table / plant stands as well. It was pretty cool. And I just realised before I put this away, this Ripsalis is in my old school chunky mix. So I don't know, it's probably a bit hard for you guys to see on screen. You can see that that mixture is moist, so it doesn't have any of that mineral substance in it. I love all jungle cactus. I love this Ripsalis. I can never remember the individual species names of each of them, so I'll make sure I put it up on the screen for you. But this guy definitely makes me smile, especially because it's in that steampunk display. That little drop of water, I just thought is such a nice touch. It's just beautiful. And I have to say a massive, massive thank you. At the time of recording this video, I have 65 subscribers. That means so much to me. As you know from the introductions that I've been putting in some of my past videos, 100 is my aim. If you're watching this video or my channel for the first time and you think this style of video might be for you, please hit the like and subscribe button down below and help me get my videos out to more people on the internet. I really appreciate it. So this is the last plant that I want to show you before I talk wishlist plants, which I'm so excited to talk to you about. This is my OG Hoya carnosa, one of the plants that started it all for me and definitely started my love of Hoyas. And look how big, it's just so beautiful. Because it's got so big, it's sitting right on top of the shelf. So she's got the highest position in our ensuite closest to the grow light. And since I've done that, I've always known that it's splashy. Let's have a look at some of the older leaves. See, there's always been a slight splash. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. But look at this leaf since I've had it closer to the grow light. It is just so much splashier having it closer to the light. So that's super exciting. It tells me that definitely needs that more intense light, which has actually made it harder for me to make this decision. It always throws out these arms looking to climb. I do feel bad. You guys know, if you've watched me for a long time, I really do love vining plants. I'm definitely a vine plant girl versus trellises. Trellises, it's just not my thing. But every time I see this beautiful plant throw out these arms reaching for something, it's done it again. Long story short, I'm going to move her out of the bathroom. So I'm about to swap over. So I'll put her up on one of the ladders, which is in the corner in our bedroom. And I will be able to put some sort of trellis up on the wall. So I'll give her top shelf on the ladder, so closest to the grow light. So hopefully keep getting some of those beautiful variegations for me. And I'm going to put some sort of trellis up there. I'm hoping it'll still vine as well, because how pretty will that be growing down the ladder? But also give some of the new growth a chance to go up if it wants to as well. This will be the only other plant. What plants have I got? I've always had my red robin syngonium on a very small trellis, and that's simply because where I've got it positioned, I'll put a photo up here for you guys if you missed the video last week. I can't have it vining where it is. It's on the back of our buffet, so it just wouldn't work. And then just last week, one of my variegated monsteras was driving me insane and kept knocking all my other plants off, getting tangled. It was actually in the spot where this is going to go. And I've just put her out in our lounge room on a trellis. I'm definitely not a moss pole girl at all, because I just won't water them. I won't maintain it. So trellis it is, it's stuck with the trellis. But I just keep feeling so guilty when I walk into the ensuite and see the arm coming out, reaching for a trellis, and it's not there. So look, the monstera's moved now. I've got space on top of the ladder. We'll put her up on that ladder where the monstera was. Also, that monstera that I've talked about that's in our lounge room is potentially on the purge list. We'll see how she goes in the corner of our lounge room. It's definitely a medium light location, whereas previously she's been in a higher light location. So if she can do okay in the corner in the lounge room, because it's not somewhere I can put grow lights, then maybe she can stay. But if she's not working in that location, unfortunately, it's going to go on my Q4 purge list.
Editing Mel here, guys. I haven't got my mic on, so I hope the sound is okay. I've put the carnosa on the trellis. This trellis was left over from just another, I think it was my variegated monstera when I purchased it. A lot of Hoya YouTubers have recommended that when you put a Hoya on a trellis, they prefer to go anti-clockwise. As that tendril gets longer, I'll actually hook it around anti-clockwise. But for now, that was the one that was sticking out, trying to find somewhere to latch onto in the ensuite. I've adjusted these grow lights. They've got a dimmer on them, and I actually did have it a little less bright when I had the spider plant up there, but I've increased the brightness because I really have found that my two carnoses really love bright light. They actually seem to thrive under really bright light. You can see underneath it I've got a snake plant, and it's quite partial to bright light as well. It should do okay as well. So watch this space. Let's see how the carnosa goes for the first time on a trellis. I'll keep you guys updated. So this is our ensuite for anyone who hasn't seen it. And this was the spider plant that was sitting up on the ladder. And I was a little bit worried that it would look a bit sparse, but I guess I hadn't realized just how full that beautiful spider plant is. I really, really appreciate spider plants as a good filler plant. So I think I'm going to keep it there, because if it starts getting some spiderlets on it, some little babies, it should actually look quite nice hanging down there. I'm actually quite relieved that space doesn't look as sparse as what I thought it would without the Hoya there.
Okay, I feel like there should be a drum roll for this one. When I picked my husband up the other night after a few years, his friend had been growing this for me, an Angel Wing Begonia. Oh my God, I was so excited. I've been admiring this plant. Every time I've been at his friend's house, I have commented on this beautiful plant. It feels like this was just a popular plant not too long ago, and I really pushed back on getting one because I'm not into following trends, and I was like, no, I don't need a maculata. Then when I saw it at my husband's friend's house, I thought, actually, I do need a maculata. That is spectacular, but I wasn't willing to go out and buy one. I was just sort of hoping that it would pop up in one of our plant club swaps, and then to get that, I thought it was so nice that he's grown it in water for me. And actually, it's looking a bit worse for wear. I can't believe this jar is awesome. Last night, it's on the ladder in the lounge room, which is on a bit of an angle, so I don't know if I'd put it too forward or whether it's Daisy, because she does knock plants off, and she was in one of those moods yesterday. I catch her coming up. This is Daisy, our big girl, comes up and nose butts some of my plants if she's in a playful mood. So I don't know if this was a result of her nose butting or maybe I just had it on the wrong angle. But anyway, it fell from like almost the top of the ladder, and we've got a tiled floor. And although it made a mess, this did not break. I was pretty impressed by that. So the plant is looking a little bit less pretty than when my husband's friend gave it to me, but she is still beautiful. This is the first maculata that I've owned, and I've done some Googling. Please tell me in the comments, but according to Google and ChatGPT, cane begonias can grow in water for at least 12 months. Some people grow them forever in water. Once you get acclimatized, I'll start putting hydroponic fertilizer in here. But I actually love the aesthetic, and particularly now this jar's got a bit of a story. I definitely want to keep it in the jar for as long as possible. Let me know in the comments if you've grown these guys successfully in water long term, because the aesthetic of that is just so lovely, and she's just so pretty. I was going to talk to you about 2 more of my wish list plants, but I might save that till next week's video. So we might leave it on my beautiful begonia maculata. We'll close the video there. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this bit more casual coffee chat style of planty video. I'm just a small channel. I read all of your comments and they always make me smile. So drop some comments below if you've enjoyed this style of video. If you didn't enjoy this style of video, any planty questions that you might have. I love reading all of your comments. And until my next video, take care. And remember guys, you've totally got this.